do you think about the way that the defense played yesterday? All three phases seemed to make clutch plays. I know the numbers might not have been what you wanted, but you guys all made clutch plays. What do you think about the way the defense responded there?
Yeah, I feel like just coming out, I feel like we didn't have the swag that we normally had. It took us a while to get started and everything, and I feel like some of the self-inflicted wounds definitely made a big impact. Like there was a play one time where I was supposed to drop, and then in my situation, I was too focused on something else, and that caused a big play for Devontae Adams. So I learned from that, move on, but self-inflicted wounds was like a big part as well.
How did your matchup with Olu for you?
It was good. I went against him on a play action. They should have called holding on that. And then I had one rush against him. It was a quick pass, but I was talking trash to him when he did not line up on the other side, and he was getting mad about that.
You ended up getting the jersey swap?
Yeah, I got his jersey. I gave him my jersey too, so it's good. We were just so excited after the game to talk to each other, see each other, and just dream come true.
Did you end up telling Aaron that your brother was a big fan when you were growing up?
Nah, I didn't see him after the game. I was talking to Olu, but we was talking between the plays, and he was telling me that I'm gonna be a special player and everything, and we got the same agent, so he was talking to my agent after the game about me and everything. So it just felt good coming from a guy that I've been watching since I was basically born, honestly.
I was going to say, it wasn't the best moment when you got hurt and you were sitting there. Did you even notice that he was one of the guys that came over to tell you something?
Yeah, he came.
Was that surreal? Like you're sitting there hurt, and here's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, my injury came first. That was my main focus was on. But when I seen him come back and he asked if I was all right or what's wrong, it meant a lot coming from a guy like that. But yeah, it felt good.
Chubb, I'm doing something on Teron Armstead, and I noticed at one point after the game, during the game, you guys he looked like he was giving you some tips or some pointers. Tell me about that moment and just kind of what Teron has meant to you so far this season.
He meant a lot to me. He's a big brother, or should I say uncle, how old he is, mentor. He just gave me the game. I learned a lot from him. He just came talk to me after Friday practices, or we just sit and chill and just talk about my pass rushing and stuff like that and what he sees and what can help me out. And just getting information from a guy who's been in here for a long time is just a blessing, honestly, as a teammate. And then on the field, he was just giving me keys on what the tackle was giving me and what I could use and stuff like that.
Liam, early in the game, you were able to draw an unnecessary roughness penalty, I think it was, or unsportsmanlike conduct, whatever it was. Are you good at getting under people's skin?
The answer is yes.
Yeah, it's kind of seems to be a trend, surprisingly. No, I really didn't say anything. I think I was just playing through the whistle, trying to stay connected, and I think that's kind of when guys get angry when you kind of just stay on them. So just trying to stay on my guy, make sure he doesn't make the play, and if I get hit in the face or if something happens, it's part of the game. It's a physical game, but yeah, just trying to block my guy.
That was very early, like the second play of the game. Did it continue kind of between you two throughout, or did everything cool down?
Yeah, it normally does whenever kind of annoy them in the beginning for the most part. But, yeah, I try to play hard. I try to block what I'm supposed to block. And, if I take it as, I was doing my job. So.
The film, what were some of the things that, some of the things that why the run game wasn't really working, and then also what were some of the things that you saw that could be easily improved? Because I know McDaniel just said there just needs to be blocking better, but, it's a little bit more complicated than that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it kind of goes back to, all of us being on the same page based on where, the point is made and all of us being on going to the correct guy after that point. So definitely communication can be improved. But at the end of the day, I think, it kind of goes back to technique and fundamentals. And I always say this, but, me having my left hand outside of the guy and then me trying to transition makes it a lot harder compared to if my hand is set, So, technique, fundamentals, hand placement, head placement, it's all important. And I think it's something that we're going to stress and continue to stress on. And at the end of the day, it kind of comes down to us doing it. So we just got to be more intentional.
When it comes down to short yardage specifically, down there, does it just kind of get more so to its physicality, but also maybe some of the finer technique things too?
Yeah, short yardage is it's one of the best things about football, I guess, especially offensive line. Yeah, I mean, you got to come off the rock, and this past week, 54 kind of likes to swim a lot in the goal line, and you can't be timid though because he may not swim and then he'll jet. So, it's all about leg drive, pad level and hand placement, and kind of running our guys into the end zone. That's kind of how you view it.
Liam, are you a guy who looks at big picture playoff chances and what you've got to do, or you just want to know this week?
No, I'm just focused on this week. Focused on Houston. Kind of one day at a time for the most part. That's how I view it. These seasons, my past couple of years have kind of gone by in a blink of an eye. So kind of just focused on this week and working to get better.
How's it felt to not be moving around as much? You've got your spot on the line solidified.
Yeah, it's nice. It's been a long path to get here, but there's a lot I need to improve on still, and I know that, and it's kind of something I'm working on every single week and every single day. But yeah, I mean it's nice, but at the end of the day, whatever the team needs, and I think I've taken that mindset since the day I got here. So just trying to get better.
What was your impression of Patrick Paul, the way he played, being called upon early in that game?
Pat, I mean, I looked over and I go, oh man, Pat's in here. I didn't even know he came in. To be honest, I saw him in the huddle. I was like, whoa, he's in here. 3 spots away, seems so close, but I'm mainly talking to the center and the right tackle. But no, I thought he did a great job. Super talented rookie, and I think his future's going to be bright, and he's going to do very well here for the Dolphins. So I'm excited for him, and he's come a long way since he got here.
His size, he's kind of hard to miss, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a big boy. He's got that big helmet on, too.
How tough is it to go from, they're talking about short yardage, to go from that side-to-side blocking when then you have to go forward? Is it like a different type of personality you have to have almost on the line?
I think it's more just kind of knowing the situation you're in. Obviously, defensive linemen are going to play short yardage, goal line similar compared to 1st and 10, 2nd and 6. They may think pass, may think run. So it's just kind of you gotta be on top of it. I mean, that's how it is every single play.
Kendall, it's good to have you back. Obviously, so much has been made, about head injuries in the NFL. How concerned were you after the second concussion? And did you even have to consider not playing the rest of the year or beyond?
I think after the second one, it was mainly just getting the knowledge, all the information you can to make the best decision for you. So that was pretty much the process. The thought process is get all the information that I can to help me just understand the decision that I'm going to be making. And our team, our training staff did a great job of just giving me all the information I could to make a smart decision, safe decision. And I was happy to get back out on the field.
When did you feel back to normal after?
Not too long after, genuinely. Physical just movement, exercise always helps. I was lucky to where the symptoms were very mild. Not too long after, but with it being the second one, we definitely had to be just a little bit more cautious with it for sure.
Did you have conversations with Tua during that process?
Yeah, I had a conversation with Tua. I think right after. Just kind of just seeing different thoughts that he had, the process that he went through and things like that. So I talked to a number of guys that I've played with who had concussions and things like that. So definitely just reach out to everybody.
Did you give any thought to wearing the guardian cap?
Nah, just the science that they go through the league, different helmets. Guardian cap can help, different helmets. It may not be that much of a benefit to have it. So pretty much got the top rated helmet that you can wear.
Is that new, or was that one that you've had?
No, I haven't had it. So it's a new helmet for me.
What's the name of the helmet?
I'm not even sure right now. Yeah.
How did it feel? Did it make a difference? Did it feel different?
Yeah. The helmets that you wear before feel safe. You can say it makes a difference whenever you can come out of a game healthy, but at the end of the day, anytime you take the field, there's a risk of a head injury, risk of any type of injury. They say the NFL is 100% injury rate. But I can say it makes a difference because I came out without a concussion, but I've also had many games with a different helmet where I came out without a concussion. So,
Kendall, I know you've known Jalen Ramsey for a minute, since high school, I think, right? Tell me, what do you see in how he's being used here, being close to the ball, shadowing people, DK Metcalf, Garrett Wilson, and what is it like playing opposite him when you have to kind of change your game when he's shadowing somebody?
yeah, I mean, I don't think of it as too much me having to change my game. You play corner in the NFL, you play on the right side, left side. I played nickel a good part of my career as well. But, I mean, Jalen's just a guy that can do everything. He likes to do everything. He has such a big skill set. And, as a competitor, even for him, it's fun when you're able to do so many different things on the field where you can go cover a top guy, get inside, blitz, disguise a blitz, pop out. So for him, I know he's enjoying it, just having fun, being able to be all over the football field.
What does that do to an offense? But I guess they always have to be aware of where 5 is, right?
Yeah, I mean, it makes them study and prepare. He's a game changer. No matter where he lines up. So they have to prepare for all the different places and all the different things that we ask them to do on the defense.
The play at the end of regulation, are you thinking in that moment, any throw near the sideline, get the guy out of bounds, make sure we save time from the very last defensive play, getting Devontae Adams
the
out of
back
bounds?
shoulder. You definitely want to. At that point, you really just, if I could go back, I would have played a little bit more underneath of them, knowing that they're not necessarily trying to take a shot, but really just trying to keep them, make it as hard of a field goal as you can. So that was really the mindset. Let's try to play tight coverage, make them kick a long field goal. So that was the biggest goal and the biggest mindset that we had.
How do you look at how you guys did yesterday? You got the dub, of course. They had 200-yard receivers. How do you, I guess, reconcile that? Did you guys do a good job? How do you?
I mean, it ain't nothing to reconcile. Cater's been in the league 3 years. Me and Jalen both 9 years. Is days where you look at the film and you're like, dang, we could have been better. So you don't necessarily reconcile it. When you leave the game, you could have done better. It always feels good to correct things and knowing that you need to get things fixed after a win. But after the game, we just know different things that we got to work on, get better to be better for next Sunday.
How was it to have the three of y'all back together?
It was fun. Just having everybody out there. Anytime you can have everybody healthy, it gives you a better chance to win. So for me, just being out for the last however many weeks, just being back on the field, being next to them, going out of the tunnel with them and things like that was definitely fun.
How many quarterbacks would you say right now can throw a back shoulder fade? Throw.
How many can throw them?
How many can use it consistently in their game?
It's the NFL. All of them got it. All of them just can do it at a better rate than others. A-Rod, especially with the different guys that he's had, he can do it at as good as anyone. But I think all of them have it in their bag. It's just a matter of, if we're playing golf, I may be super good with my 7-iron. You can hit your 7-iron, but it just may be like what I do best. And that's what A-Rod does best. So I think everybody has it, but his is definitely elite.
Don't want to get into your medical history at all, but you mentioned the conversations that you had with some of the doctors and everything. Was there anything that you learned throughout this process that is going to help you down the line?
You mainly just you're understanding what type of risk you're taking actually going out on the field. Just asking them, hey, is there more of a risk of me getting a concussion with me going back out there just because I had ones in the past and things like that. So there's nothing that they can sit here and tell you down the line, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. So it was mainly just understanding the risk that I'm taking going back out on the field.
Is there a secret to December success in the NFL? I know it's a battle of attrition and everything like that, but how does a team succeed in December?
Health is definitely one of them, just having everybody out there healthy. And then I don't think it's a secret, it's just a matter of 11 guys on the field doing their job and winning their matchups. So I don't think it's necessarily a secret. Football is always going to be football. When you have guys going out there and making their plays, whatever team makes the most plays is going to win. So it's just a matter of it's December. Every game counts in December. So, but at the end of the day, it's still football.
Alec, as you've watched the tape in meetings, what has stood out about why the run game has regressed in terms of yards per carry so much these last 5 weeks?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, we've talked a number of times the past few years on how the run game is kind of the epitome of all 11 having to be tied together. So I think, where we're at right now as a team, obviously extremely efficient in the pass game, being able to move the ball in a number of different ways. And when we're operating so efficiently, sometimes those looks, we need to do a lot better job as players to be able to take those looks, be all on the same page, to be able to execute, because when we're throwing the ball 7, 8 yards a clip, 12 yards a clip, 14 yards a clip, sometimes a 4-yard run doesn't feel the same, right? And I think a lot of guys can clean up our assignments in the blocking schemes to be able to kind of make sure that we are moving the ball in the run game just as efficiently and effectively as we are in the pass game. So I think it's definitely an area that we can grow in. It does take all 11 to be able to make that happen. So, we're not playing horseshoes or hand grenades right now, and close isn't going to cut it. So, December football, a lot of teams need to be able to run. We're going to be on the road quite a bit, and I think that's going to help. So I think it's really buttoned down the hatches there. It's definitely a growth opportunity for us heading into this stretch.
Alec, I know there's a difference between excuses and explanations. You guys don't make excuses, but an explanation for the run game decline. Your snaps are down. Austin Jackson not there. Teron not there yesterday. Is that not an excuse? Is that a legit explanation?
I think, there's a lot of when you start to look at the circumstances of why something isn't happening. Sometimes the simple answer of not being able to execute is the tough one that you have to really dial into. I think being able to look at those circumstances and why we aren't performing with those 11 guys on the field, being able to run the ball, there's no finger point, there's no excuses. And it's simple, but it's hard to do. And I think that's the challenge that we all have to kind of embrace and not look at any sort of outside help, any sort of outside explanation, and truly just dialing into how all 11 can be in this run game and we can improve down the stretch. Because I think that's the only way we win the games we need to win is for all 11 guys to be able to take that ownership and not have to look for who's on the field, who's off, situation of the game. Like, it shouldn't really matter at this point. It's who's on the field and how can we execute.
Specifically, does it just come down to being more physical than the opponent, or are there still some finer details in technique that can be fixed there?
Yeah, probably a little bit of both. I think being able to, when you talk about fast, physical, elite technique in short yardage, getting the right feet in the ground, being able to do all of the things we need to do to move your guy 1 yard so the running back can get through that line of scrimmage. I think it really is details. I think it's that focus. A little toughness can help too, a little tenacity to get after it. But no, I think that's short yardage in the run game right now is something that we're all going to be having our hand in. I think Tyreek and Jalen Waddle have been doing an outstanding job run blocking, all wide receivers. Malik has been doing a great job as well in that run blocking. So, all 11 are bought in. It's just, man, we need to continue to grow in that area, and we're all tied together, and we all have our hand in that.
I always say, like, I would agree with anything you would say about the importance of the run game. I find it odd, though, that when the run game was doing very well, the team was on a losing streak, and now it's almost like it's reversed what you would expect, isn't it?
Correlation, causation, that whole thing. I think wins are important, so we're going to take that. But if we get this run game and the pass game all clicking on this, you'll be able to see the offense at its full potential. And I think that's what we have to strive to do every single day, at the office, is how can we continue to each asset, each piece of this game, put it together for December to play really good football. And I don't think we've hit that stride yet as an offense, which is exciting because there's something to work on. And it's frustrating at the same time because it hasn't been coming together the way we've seen it come together in the past. So I think it's just really, learning from the past, understanding you're inspired for what's ahead and in the future and what can be, and then being as present as possible to make sure that we're executing when those run plays are called, pass plays are called, doesn't matter what the call is, to all 11 to be able to execute there.
Is it almost what Hal said? Is it like a split personality? Is it like two different personalities, that type of running game, while Tua was out, that you had to have, as opposed to the type of running game you have now with him there?
When your back's against the wall, no matter what, I think it brings the best out of you. And a lot of guys in the run game, we had to step up and we had to do that. I think that sense of urgency, I don't think you can wait for your back to be up against the wall anymore. It's a 1-game season from here on out. So that sense of urgency that we're carrying through run game, pass game, installs, Wednesdays, Fridays, it shouldn't matter. At this point, everything's important. Every single detail matters. All your single efforts, from blocking on all the way on the backside of a play, not thinking that's going to be the home run block. All of those things matter at this point in the season. So that's the battle that we're fighting, and I think we got the right guys to do it.
That's my next. Can you switch between one and the other, that power running game and then the zone, whatever blocking thing?
Yeah. I think it's all a piece of it, right? You want to have both assets depending on what the defense is presenting to you, what guys are making plays on both sides of the ball, so that you can be able to have as many plays on that call sheet that could be explosive. You want to score every single snap that we touch it. You got so many explosive guys between Devon, Jalen, Raheem, Jeff Wilson coming up big in a couple key snaps. We have a great room in the running back room. All of our wide receivers, tight ends, Jonnu, obviously. There's a lot of guys that can do some special things with the ball in their hands. So every single time that we step on the field, every single snap, we got to be able to be explosive and do whatever it takes to get those efficient yards that we need.
If I told you were playing with a guy who's on pace to break all of the single season tight end records, would you be surprised?
I would assume it's the guy that catches jugs before every single walkthrough, every single practice, every single day. It's probably that guy that I've been seeing showing up every single day. I think it's cool to see. I didn't understand that. I didn't know that he's on track, but not surprised in the least by the work ethic you see. Throughout the year, it doesn't matter. I think Jonnu's game this last, everyone's talking about how he didn't get the ball and then he does in overtime. It's throughout the season, it kind of epitomized how he's been approaching things. When his opportunity, his number gets called, he's been working relentlessly and tirelessly to be ready for those opportunities. So it gives me goosebumps right now thinking about the amount of work and how it shows up on the field. All of his efforts have been showing up in a number of different ways, and his habits, routines, his standard, he's leading by example in a number of ways in this building.
Alec, I'm doing something on Tehran, and he's got an event this afternoon, a shopping spree. I'll ask you about your event next. I am. But he's got he had a deal last week of kids, educational.
Yeah.
Here's a guy who's got a hip hop album, outstanding player. Yesterday he's injured. I see him at one point talking to Patrick Paul, at another point talking to Chop. What do you think when all of this with Tehran? How do you describe him? What do you think of him?
He's one of the best pros I've ever been around. He doesn't talk very much, but when he talks, people listen. He has a very unique leadership style to him. He's that almost like a father figure, it seems like, in the huddle. You can tell when he's on the field, guys have confidence. All 10 guys outside of Tehran have confidence when you see 72 in the huddle. And I think that carries over into the locker room. You see him and his presence. It's calming. It's confident. It's not arrogant in the slightest. And I think the more things that he's doing off of the field, I think that bleeds onto the field. Being a role model and example for a lot of guys, myself included, looking up to his academy, his financial literacy work that he's doing, having a building with Tehran Family Foundation, that's unbelievable stuff that he's been doing over the past decade, and you can see it show up in the game, and to have a career that he's had up until this point has been outstanding.
And tell me about your event. It's up in Coconut Creek, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to think, $100 for every 30 yards of offense. Is that right?
Yeah, so Yeah, we're going on the 16th. We're going up. We're going to surprise the kids, play a little Santa Claus, give them some give back, some toys and all that stuff. And last year we did that event, and I was like, man, this is cool. Like, you get the shoes, you get the clothes, you get the toys, but I wanted to, be a part of something that's going to stay there longer than I'm going to be around playing on football. So we were able to fundraise and build these kids a nice outdoor park for them to, be out there and just be kids, man. It's those little things, the perspective, the smiles on their faces. I can't imagine the amount of memories that are going to be made over there outside in SOS Children's Village. So really excited to see all the smiles when that thing gets released.
I'd like to ask you a little bit more about Tehran and just kind of what he's going through, because we haven't seen him be able to practice for several weeks, and yet he's out there trying to make it go every Sunday. Mm-hmm. How difficult is that? How much respect do you have for him?
Utmost respect. I think the past few years, seeing how I'm a big rep guy. I need practice. I want my body mechanics. I want to work all the way through the week. And for him to get all those reps for the past few years where he's battling whatever injuries he's battling and to show up and put the cape on Sunday has been inspiring, because he's a pro's pro. He's not taking vacation. He's not hanging out. Like, he is working every single day, whether it's boxing, whether it's whatever he's doing for cardio. He's been taking care of all of his business all the time. So to see him be able to go through all that adversity and still perform at a high level week in and week out is extremely inspiring. And to see there's a million different ways to get to Sunday and to be able to be a performer. And I can assume that's not the easiest way to do it, probably not how he wants it, but it's inspiring to see him show up to work every single day.
What's different about December football?
I think the margin of error is extremely small. People are climbing or they're falling. I think there's a lot of holiday season going on. There's a lot of end of the year. There's a lot of noise going around, and the better that you handle that noise as a team, to stay connected, to make sure that you're using every single ounce that's gotten you to that point to be that edge, to be that separator in December football. The teams that win in December are the ones that are winning in January and February, and there's no secret to that. I feel like hitting your stride in December is extremely important, because every single play matters that much more. All that little effort adds up. You get a lot of high stakes poker being played on the football field in December, and I think that's where the true separation of good and great is.